It's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, school, for everything that it is, it's also, a pretty good respite
Yes.
from having to deal with critters.
Don't kid yourself. The idea of school as a babysitting service
Mhm.
is not lost on any parent ever.
Mhm. That's why parents know better than anybody when school's back in, right?
Yes, and the only thing that I would add is our schools need to have a higher level of physical activity for those of us who have boys to wear them out.
Speaking of which, I'm a big fan of this new legislation that just got signed into law in the state of Tennessee by Governor Bill Lee, requiring additional recess for elementary school students.
Amen.
100%.
Because boys in particular, we know this is a biological reality, that boys that don't have, and frankly, girls too, their brains develop a little faster than boys, so they can focus a little better. Their prefrontal cortex, it's super. But the boys, man, they need to wear it out to get all that nervous energy out so that they can learn. It's a thing.
I mean, boys, I don't want to oversimplify it, but boys truly are dogs and girls are cats.
That's not an unfair analogy.
A thing, man. Hey, friends, welcome back into yet another episode of All the Best Words. We are pleased that you've decided to join us today. Like and subscribe. Give us the old thumbs up wherever you might be watching. And tell a friend or a neighbor about All the Best Words. My name's Matt Murphy, and I say all the best words.
My name's Cameron Smith. I write all the best words.
And here's the big opening for All the Best Words.
I know words. I have the best words.
This is All the Best Words with Matt Murphy and Cameron Smith.
Can you hear? Oh, crap.
We don't ever want to know the answer to that question. We're just going to pose it indefinitely.
Please don't tell us. Because we sit here silently and do nothing while you guys watch the little cow dots come up. I call them the cow dots because they're black and white. It's a great opening logo by our executive producer of All the Best Words, who does not get the credit he deserved, Chris Weber, everybody.
Hear, hear.
But enough of that. You want me to start?
I do. What's your word, Matt?
My word today is Politburo. Politburo.
Soviet style.
I know. You like that, don't you?
I do.
Politburo. Politburo is, I had to look it up, but it is, by definition, it is a group, a body, a governing body that advises the head of state in a communist country, the Politburo.
Mm-hmm.
And the Politburo was also, apparently, the informal language used for the individuals making the decisions during the Biden administration. Now, I had to write these down, Cameron.
Okay.
I brought a notepad. I had to write these down. Now, you are one of all of the people that I know, you're probably more in tune with D.C. politics than most. I'm going to name a few of these names. These are people that apparently were making decisions for and along with the mentally unable President of the United States of America. Bruce Reed? No. Mike Donilon or Donilon?
Know the name, but that's about it.
Annie Tominski? Steve Ricchetti?
Is that a type of pasta?
And Ron Klain. I think we know Ron Klain. These are the 5 individuals, according to the new book by Jake Snapper, or whatever his name is. I'm not going to give him any undue publicity because, my goodness gracious, can this roll out of this book stop? But according to the authors of this book, exposing the Biden presidency for what it was, these were the individuals making the decisions within the presidency. I know that it is fashionable for lawmakers when they discover something that they don't like to say, it's time for a full-fledged investigation. Since Trump came to power, we've wanted to investigate everything. Let's investigate everything. But I think this is legitimately worthy of an investigation. Sure. I don't care if anybody goes to jail. I don't really think anybody is going to go to jail. I just want to know how bad it was, and I think the American people need to know that the person that they elected to be the 46th president of the United States was not making the decisions in the White House because he was mentally unable to do that. And simultaneously, the people that knew were covering it up from most of us.
Yeah.
And those that discovered it, in large part, decided to ignore it and look the other way.
Or run a book deal off of it. So I've actually got a column out on this, and this is one, as a columnist, that makes me furious. And so, you said you didn't want to give any more attention to this book rollout. I do want to give attention to the person who's running that book rollout, which is Jake Tapper, because he was in on it. He was part of it. So the attention is not go buy the Original Sin book. The original sin is that you knew you should be asking questions and you didn't. And then once the political stakes were gone, then you decided to ask the tough questions.
And make money off of it.
And hey, as a capitalist, more power to you. But as a journalist and somebody who has a First Amendment charge, the Constitution says, hey, media, hey, you people, you hold power accountable. It doesn't say Democratic power or Republican power. It says power. Like, that's why you're there. That's if you read the Federalist Papers, if you look through the history of the First Amendment, look through court cases, the job is to hold power accountable. It's not a partisan function. What we saw was folks like Jake Tapper willfully turning a blind eye to Joe Biden's frailty, refusing to ask the tough questions, and then acting like after the political stakes were gone that, oh, we were lied to. How could we have known? Well, guess what? You could have asked the questions.
Well, and Tapper, to your point, was such a part of the cover-up that anytime a conservative or a Republican would come on his television show on #NeverCNN, and I call them #NeverCNN because you should never watch CNN, garbage network for the garbage people don't watch. Anyway, he would shout them down when they brought up the idea that Joe Biden was not mentally able to function as president.
He treated it as a conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, the best example is when Laura Trump was on his television show, and Laura Trump brought up his mental frailty, and he accused her of shaming somebody with a stutter. He knew very well. Joe Biden, by the way, the stutter was never a problem when he was vice president. It was never a problem when he was a U.S. senator. He had overcome his stutter, but suddenly the stutter's back when it's convenient for the mainstream media. So you're right. It's not a matter of, hey, we didn't know we were duped, which is what Jake Tapper wants you to believe. It was, hey, we were a part of this, but now that it's politically convenient and now it's after the fact, we want to crap all over your space, and then now we're just going to cover it up with this little book and pretend like it never happened.
Yeah, and this is we use the word cover up, but this is one of the biggest cover-ups in American history, and we should not let it go quietly. The media right now wants this news cycle over. They don't want people saying, hey, what did you know when?
Right.
And we should drag them kicking and screaming through this because it matters so much. That is the most powerful individual on the planet. On the planet.
And the idea that, and I just want to stress this for a moment, and I know we got to get to your word, the idea that 5 not only unelected, but unappointed, unconfirmed. None of these positions were confirmed by the United States Senate. It's not as if certain members of his cabinet were helping him make the decisions. These were unelected people, along with Jill and Hunter, making decisions for the most powerful man on planet Earth, and it should frighten the hell out of all of us.
Yeah, and when Democrats start talking about norms and principles, remind them that the leadership of the Democratic Party, not all the rank and file voters, but the leadership of the Democratic Party and their aligned proxies in the media covered this up. They lied about it. And then everything was justified by not Trump. It was everything's okay. We can abandon our principles, our norms, our character, everything because Trump's that scary. And then they say the same things about Trump.
If you've not seen John, I normally don't give plugs like this, but if you've not seen Jon Stewart, who is probably left of center, I would even say definitely left of center, go watch his treatment on Jake Tapper. It is absolutely spot on. You knew then. It's not news now. It's just a money grab now. Cameron, what's your word?
Amendment.
Amendment.
Not
so
like
you're amending your word?
Not like soil amendment. Like this is the amendment in the legislative sense, and I want to amend with an amendment H.R. 1. This is the big beautiful bill.
Big beautiful bill.
The big
act, which it loses something.
And there's a section within the big beautiful bill that's the tax stuff from Ways and Means that's called the one big beautiful bill, which is very confusing. Notwithstanding, my amendment is really simple. I can tell you the text right now. It's to delete the last line of the 1,000-page plus big beautiful bill, which is increased by $4 trillion. What we're talking about there is the debt limit. if you scroll all the way to the end, you have to scroll for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the very end of the big beautiful bill, it just says is increased by $4 trillion. And that to me is all the rest of it doesn't matter, because that is an indication of what Republicans, let's be honest, this is a Republican bill, and the administration have said, this is what we see the future looking like. So we need $4 trillion in room to operate so that we can do what we want. As a fiscal conservative, the answer is no. I want to keep that debt limit tight. I want to have the conversation every time we hit up against it. What are we doing? Because right now, the idea that we see all this other stuff as somehow saving us money, then why do we need the $4 trillion debt limit increase?
Well, and they argue that, well, we're moving it in the right direction. And I wouldn't disagree with the point that, no, you're right. You're not overspending by over $1 trillion a year. You're overspending by somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 billion a year, if the best estimates are applied to this bill, which is still far too much. My argument, I don't know of two people who involve themselves in politics who more consistently accept that the art of Congress is the art of giving up acceptable things that you're willing to give up to get other things on the other side. And if every party's willing to do that, that's what consensus is. And sometimes you and I disagree about what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Absolutely.
That's political debate. But we are never going to get a better opportunity to eat into overspending than right now.
Amen.
And the Senate, I want the Senate to hold the line and demand that these squishy Republicans in the House of Representatives, these purple Republicans, vote no on what they get back. And what they ought to get back is a bill that's leaner, that's meaner, that's better, that saves more money, because we're never going to get a better opportunity than right now.
Well, and when you start getting into the details, and that's what DOJ has done, started to get into the details. When you get the details of this bill, you start to see some weird stuff. For example, we know that the border, the encounters at the border have dropped off a cliff. Well, that means that the agencies charged with doing that have done what they've done with the money they have now.
Right.
And so just for good measure, we're going to spend billions more.
$70 billion.
Right. That to me is, well, wait a minute. Where's the management here? Where's the negotiation saying, wait, we're doing a great job with what we have. You guys think you can squeeze a little bit more, be consistent here? Maybe we can use some of that to build stuff. I started to peel back the layers, and it said, well, how about CBP vehicles? And it was something akin to, I think it was 75, I can't remember the exact number, but I did the calculation at $100,000 a patrol car. Mm-hmm. And it was over 8,000 patrol cars. Are we going to build the wall out of patrol cars? Those are the details that matter. It was in the DOD part, it was $75 million for anti-lock brakes.
I think it's $150 billion in this budget, additional money for the United States military. I'm pro-military, love the military. Do not for a second suggest to Matt Murphy or Cameron Smith that you cannot find. They're already getting $1 trillion a year. Right. It's almost $1 trillion. You want $150 billion more, and before you say Golden Dome, that's only $25 billion of it. So even if you argued me into believing in Golden Dome, which you can't do, you have to save money too. Just because you're the Department of Defense, you're not a sacred cow. And then on and on and on and on it goes. I'm absolutely.
And this is the crazy stuff that we're getting into, and then we're all clapping and acting like we've done a good job. And we just haven't. Like, that's just objectively true. I understand compromise, and I'm there. But you know what I've learned? Is that fiscal conservatives always lose. Mm-hmm. That's not a compromise. If you are losing every single time, and you're not, they talk about bending the cost curve. You haven't bent anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, we are just adding to the debt, and it's a matter of the rate. You got to stop at some point.
I think our man Elon said it best, and I think he loves Donald Trump and loves the Trump agenda, when he said, when it comes to the big, beautiful bill, I think it can be beautiful, and I think it can be big. I don't think it can be both.
Amen.
And I think he's exactly right. With that, that's our time for this edition of All the Best Words. He's Cameron Smith.
He's Matt Murphy.
And this has been All the Best Words. See you.